contradicting myself, but I assure you I'm not. I've put a lot of emphasis in the past on the teaching that if you want something to come from others, you should provide it for yourself. If you want money from other people, first begin with yourself. Love yourself. Find happiness yourself and watch it reflect in the rest of the universe. It's because it puts the power back in your hands. Whether what you create comes through the venue of yourself or through the venue of another person, you are still the one creating it. So this truth begins with the realization that even if you are lining up with other people who provide you with your needs, it is still you creating your reality, so it is still you providing yourself with those needs. In human culture, there's a lot of emphasis put on the idea that it's not okay to use people for our own benefit. You are using everything in your life and everyone in your life as a tool to increase your happiness. For example, you are using your lover. You're using him or her as a tool to increase your own joy and self-worth. You are using your children. You're using them to feel as if your life matters to someone. You are using your friends. You're using them to feel a sense of security. So a healthy relationship is one that is mutually beneficial, where I am using you and you are using me in a beneficial way for both of us. That is the definition of a healthy relationship.
People ask me, can a codependent be a narcissist? So if you understand narcissistic personality disorder, or what I call pathological narcissist, you'll know that one of the major criterion or diagnostic criterion of that disorder or those disorders is little to no insight into the problem, a sense of denial, being oblivious to the harm that you cause others, and making excuses for the mistakes or problems that you do, or hurting people, not accepting responsibility and blaming the other person. So why would a narcissist ask me, so Ross, do you think I'm a narcissist? The person that's going to ask the question is the person that has the ability to have insight into their self, their problems. They have the psychological awareness that maybe something is wrong, they're responsible, and to feel bad about it. Think about it. You have to have some level of guilt or remorse to wonder if you're being narcissistic, because it just asking the question infers that you don't like it, you feel bad about it, and you carry some shame about it. So the answer, the quick answer to that question is narcissists don't ask me that question. Codependents do. Dishonesty, manipulation, sneakiness, and even harm is independent of codependency or self-love deficit disorder. If you were a child and on track to be an adult codependent, a human doing, the pleasing child or the trophy child, which I refer to in other videos, you're going to learn that the way that you get any love, the conditional love from your narcissistic parent, is you're going to be the pleasing trophy child that the parent wants, and you suppress your own needs in order to not upset the narcissist. So when I get a codependent who asks, am I a narcissist because I lie and cheat and manipulate, I explain to them that their need or desire or tendency to be such an emotionally manipulative person is just another form of codependency, and I explain the differences between active codependency and passive codependency, and the light bulb goes off. But the question is not answered completely yet. Many of us are familiar with the concept of gaslighting. It comes from a movie in which a person manipulates another to believing there's something wrong with them in order to gain control. And over time, the manipulator is able to brainwash or turn that person against themselves, and they actually believe everything that the manipulative narcissist says about them.
I wasn't any liquor. He said I was going out of my mind.
You're not going out of your mind. You're slowly and systematically being driven out of your mind.
But why? Oh, that's wonderful.
And you thought I was being cruel to you. Keeping people away
not
from
cruel.
you. Making you a prisoner.
Oh, you're the kindest man in the world.
So, it is the traditional sense of the word, using someone, that creates the problem in our minds in terms of using someone, not the actuality. Because you're using your entire reality, any aspect of it, to make yourself feel one way or the other. And what's interesting is we all want to be used. People want to be used. But it's fine to have a self-centered reality. Why? Because you are the center of your reality. Our problem on this planet is not selfishness. It's that we won't let ourselves be selfish. We won't let ourselves go in the direction of our own individual joy. So we get cut off from it to the degree that eventually an improvement vibrationally and therefore emotionally from the powerlessness that we feel is revenge and violence and anger. If we did nothing other than to chase our own happiness selfishly, we would never end up so low vibrationally that an improvement would be revenge and violence. This world would be one of unity and love.
I truly can't tell you how often people have shared with me the terrible trauma of losing the best years of their life to narcissists. And I know that this relates to so many of you watching this episode today. And my heart goes out to you because this is what is commonly reported. Things like, I gave up my career to support the narcissist, and now it's too late for me to reclaim those years and opportunities. And the narcissist dangled the possibility of children constantly, and now I'm too old to have them. And I pumped all of my finances and income and resources into a life with this person, all the results of my working efforts, and now they're gone. How on earth am I going to rebuild now? And of course, people commonly report, I'm however old I am, and now I'm so depressed and unhealthy and stressed. I look terrible. I've aged considerably. Who would want me now? I used to be attractive and healthy, but the narcissist took from me the best of me. It's gone now.
That we are manifesting our entire reality through these people and these things and these experiences. You are the one manifesting these people and things that are providing you with your needs. The truth is, you are manifesting your happy life through all of these things. You created the earth, and the food, and the farmer, and the store. You may see them as separate entities and therefore feel powerless to them for your own survival. Or, you can choose to see them as extensions of yourself, and thus you are merely manifesting your needs through them currently. This realization puts you in touch with the fact that you are the powerful creator of your own abundance. I can highlight this truth easily by changing your view of the dreaded relationship between a sugar baby and a sugar daddy. In other words, an intentional relationship between a woman who is usually highly attractive and a man who is financially wealthy. What most people don't see is that they are not using each other any more than any other couple uses each other. Couples who love each other for societally acceptable things, such as character traits, use each other because those character traits, like sense of humor or an affectionate nature, cause us to feel happier. We are using our partner for our own happiness. A sugar baby uses a man for her happiness. It just so happens that what she thinks adds to her happiness is financial abundance and freedom. The sugar daddy uses a woman for his happiness. It just so happens that what he thinks adds to his happiness is having something beautiful to look at, and the power he feels when his company is kept by something that other people perceive as valuable. And we all know there is hardly a value and power greater in today's modern mainstream society than a beautiful woman. But guess what? The sugar baby manifested her own abundance. She is not powerless to the man's abundance. She has simply manifested her own abundance through a man. Simply manifested her own abundance through a man. And there is nothing more or less virtuous about manifesting money through a man. The variable is knowing. Knowing that you are creating your own reality through these people and things. Okay to use people? Yes. We do it all day, every day. And people want to be used. And if you have lined up with someone who does not like being used in the way that you want to use them, then it's not the right person to use. This is an example of an incompatibility that has absolutely no remedy. Because obviously both people have a different version of what partnership they actually want. And if either partner conforms to the idea of the other person, they will suffer. Relationships will end in pain. More of a consequence for all parties involved to discover that there's an irreconcilable incompatibility is doomed to die in the form that it's in. Customer support, even though it may be a painful process of letting go and of change, rather than to reject or to hate them or punish them for not being compatible to us in the role that we want them in, and or to throw them out of our life completely. If we have lined up with someone who resents the way we are using them, it means that there might just be someone who would love to be used for that thing.
Now, for anyone who's been discarded by a narcissist, you may have found yourself in a state of utter shock and horror by how quickly they move into a new relationship. I mean, your side of the bed has not even gone cold and there's somebody else sleeping in it. Most people are going to take some time, the necessary time, to reflect on what happened, why it didn't work, maybe even to grieve the loss of that person in your life. But not the narcissist. Nope, they're moving at hyper speed to get the next victim in there. And in many cases, oh my God, if I had a dime for every time I've heard this one, are engaged to be married within 3-4 months. Now you may wonder how a new victim could fall for this accelerated idealization, love bombing, and absolute breakneck speed towards solidifying a relationship. But let's not forget, many of us fell for that too. So why is the narcissist moving so quickly once the relationship is over? Well, there's a really strong likelihood that they have not started this pursuit of a new victim once you leave. The likelihood, to be honest, is that this new victim was already put in place before you left with their anticipation of you leaving.
We came here to do. We came here to use each other to gain expansion. It's just that when we made that decision, from source perspective, we did not harbor the illusion that your neighbor is different from yourself. And so you understood that rather than using someone else, it was you using you to gain your own expansion. It just so happens in the third dimension, you using you appears as one person using another person. Even if you use someone else to fulfill your wants, you're the one doing it. You were the one that created the person in your reality to provide yourself with those desires. This is a very important shift in perspective if we want to live happy lives here. The way in which I am manifesting this need or want for myself, making me feel capable and powerful, or incapable and powerless. Let that question be your guide as to how to change your reality so you're manifesting things in a way which serves you best.